Yeah, so to me, the Swayman decision should again be dead and buried. Like, we shouldn't have to be talking about this. This shouldn't be a thing that's coming up.
And yet.
But Razor said yesterday, before the performance, which was outstanding last night by Jeremy Swayman, before the game, Razor said he thinks indications are Allmark's going to be game 2. He said this in round 1. He was right. So I would not ignore that. I don't know if Razor wants to walk it back after the performance last night, but that's what he said yesterday. I heard in town, Beersy said he thinks it's Allmark too. So, like, what?
Yeah, well, 2 or 3, he said.
Okay, so he thinks we're going to see.
Didn't say it'd be 2.
So Allmark is going to play again in this series. Why? I don't get why that's a thing. And I got to tell you, I'm more and more sold on Swayman. The more I hear people talk about him, never mind just how he plays, but the more the team talks about him. But Montgomery even left a little wiggle room here. Here's Montgomery after the game on the goalie quote-unquote decision. I put that in air quotes because it shouldn't be a decision, but it sounds like it might be.
And the other is the choice to go with Jeremy. You had talked this morning about neither of them has played that many games over a short period of time. Were you on the fence at all with that decision, and what sort of factored into it?
Well, we talked about it, as
What'd
a
you talk
staff, and because of the emotional high of Game 7 and the travel, we contemplated, going with Allmark because we have so much confidence in him too. But when a guy is playing that well, it's like, don't outsmart yourself.
Okay, so I like that line there at the end by Montgomery, by the way, because
yeah.
I think Montgomery wants to play Swayman every day.
Don't outsmart yourself.
So who's he talking to? Is that like right to goalie Bob? Like, is he talking to goalie Bob? Is he talking to Sweeney?
Like, it's a threat.
Neely. Like, guys, don't outsmart yourselves. Like, this guy's red hot. Let's play him. And so I don't get what they were even talking about going into Game 1. I would have no idea what they're talking about coming out of Game 1. I have no idea. But apparently they talked about it going into last night. Razor thinks we're going to see him tomorrow. Others think we could see him in this series. So is that a decision? Meanwhile, I love hearing this from Mason Lohrei. Mego, you referenced him last night. Sick goal. He had an opportunity to score earlier in the game where he really had a wide open net. But he was great. He's been great. And I like this exchange after the game, which tells you how the players in the dressing room view the play of Jeremy Swayman.
There was a save Jeremy made very early in the game against Lundell. To what extent did this give energy, knowing that he was still dialed in?
Oh, I mean, the guy's always dialed in. We're never worried about that. He's, unbelievable. And the backbone of this team, so we're lucky to have him. And obviously, he's one of the best boys in the league. So,
what is the reaction when there's a massive pileup in his net and he usually comes out of it smiling? Like what is that reaction for you guys? Like,
yeah, always. I mean, it seems like you can never rattle the guy. He's always smiling, always singing along to songs. It's relaxing, at least for me. I mean, I see it and kind of makes you, remember it's just a game. And, he can go out there and play as well as he does and go and have fun. So kind of lets you do the same.
Okay, so singing in the dressing room and everything else, like, I don't really care for that.
Ave Maria.
So, like, to me, that's foolish game.
Oh, Swayman is so relaxing. Oh, Swayman, sing more, Jewel.
Painted in the past, though my life is changing fast. If he likes Reba, then I'm back on board. But so it's like, the singing and like it's like weirdo goalie stuff. I get all that. My name is Jonas.
You know how yesterday we did the psychopath test? And we asked all those questions?
Yeah.
The one question you have to ask is, are you an NHL goalie? And if the answer is yes, then you're a psychopath.
Then you're automatically
a psychopath.
Automatically. No,
I've never met a normal goalie in my life.
And so look, they're all a little tapped and they're all a little weird, and like that's probably representative of that. So I'm not as focused on the singing part, but like the fact that everybody else is at ease when he's out there, like I believe that, and the team looks like they have full faith in him, and I think it's part of why they let down in Game 2 is the point against Toronto. You roll Allmark out there, they're like, it's this guy again? Like, the guy who crapped his pants the last 2 postseasons? The guy who we tried to get rid of? And so I do think there's a letdown when Allmark gets out there. And I do think there's a confidence in Swayman, and that's another reason not to go away from him. I have no idea why they would.
So what do you make of, like, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate because I think we all pretty much agree on Swayman playing out the rest of these playoffs. But the argument that you hear repeated time and time again from other people in the hockey world saying, well, the strength of this goaltending is that you can get the rest. That you can rest these guys, and basically it's like having 2 closers, and you don't have to play them every single night.
You want rest? Then try to finish off this team quickly instead of losing games like you did with Allmark in the first round. I said this yesterday. If you didn't play Allmark in Game 2, you might have swept Toronto. That series might have been over. There's your rest. On top of that, it's games every night. There's a night off in there. So, like, I don't want to hear about how tired you are. How old, Swayman?
25.
Okay, so, like, what are we talking about? Like, what? Do you think the Panthers
he
are
only
going to
played half a season.
Right, thank you.
25.
Are the Panthers going to sit Bobrovsky?
No.
Like, I mean, like, they might if he keeps giving up 5
If he gives
goals a
up another
night.
fiver, yeah,
But,
maybe.
like, the point is, if he's hot,
Like, I don't think that's the plan.
if he's hot and they're riding him exactly, then they're not going to sit him down. How old's Bobrovsky? And so I would not do that with Swayman, but you hear enough people around the team, like pseudo-employees of the team, saying we're going to see Allmark again, and that's scary.
Well, but that goes back to what I was saying. It's like a repeated thing. The strength is the goaltending. The strength is the duo. The strength is the tandem. They can go back and forth. It's like having two closers.
Do you think Montgomery agrees with it?
Not at this point.
Me neither.
How are you like sitting at the point where Montgomery was, where he was in the hot seat basically after Game 6, looking down at the barrel of his career, and Swayman saves his ass along with with Pastrnak, who we called out before, so that's a little awkward. But like, I don't know how you look at that and go, yeah, I'm going to go back to Allmark because of this tandem, putting us over the top of other teams who nobody else is doing this.
I feel like people talk about this, and then he goes out and plays, and then there's like it stops for a day, and then it comes back up. Like after you watch him play, you know what I mean? Like after you watch Swayman go, and you see him just completely dominate whoever he's going out there.
It has
against.
a flare up.
It does, and then it's like
later.
all of a sudden, like a day later, it's like, yeah, but Allmark maybe could again, and it's like no one's saying that after the game. After the game, you don't hear anybody say that because it's ridiculous.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
not
we
true.
all agree it's ridiculous.
That's not true.
I mean, like the night of, like after the game and the post game, I feel like people aren't doing that.
Well, yeah, post game, nobody's like, wow, Swayman was great. Hey, what do we think about Allmark?
I'm
Like,
not
that's
talking
awkward.
about players on the team. I'm talking about pundits and
Even media,
talking heads and stuff
you
like
feel
that.
like media immediately after the game are like, okay, so Allmark next.
No, I'm saying they're not doing that.
I mean, it's a topic that comes up then when you're talking about what the lineup's going to be the next game.
Right, but I think that my point I'm trying to make here is that it's a topic that comes up until you watch Swayman play. And then I feel like you see him and it's just over, at least for a day, and then they start it up again, during the off day or whatever. But like it just seems like the more you watch him, the less likely it is that they're going to suddenly turn face and say, okay, you know what, he's won this many games in a row, he's been this good, he's put up these kind of numbers, and now's the day we're going to sit him down. I just think the more sort of his resume kind of gets written here, I think makes it harder to try and take him out of the crease.
So Swayman was excellent again. There shouldn't be a decision, and yet you keep hearing from people very close to the team, pseudo-employees of the team, that we might see Allmark again. Why?
Flare up.
I loved Montgomery's timeout last night. He showed he actually earned his paycheck and does something, and it's got me believing in the Bruins, as does Arcand. Mego's a holdout. You can vote in our big question of the day, up now at Jones and Mego. Do you believe?
And all this negativity that's in this town
I agree.
sucks.
I agree so
Mego.
much there, Rick.
Just not. It's hard to impress me.
So you can vote at Jones and Mego. Are you starting to believe the Bruins can win the Cup with all your phone calls? 617-779-7937. Also, 10 minutes from now, it's 2 for Tuesday here on WEEI. We'll have 2 tickets to the Red Sox and the Nationals Saturday night at Fenway Park. It's a part of 2 different pairs we're going to be giving away, 2:30 and 3:30 here today on Jones and Mego. We've been doing it all day on WEEI. Started with Greg Hill this morning, through Gresham Fourier, and 2 sets of tickets, I should say. 4 total, 2 pairs that we'll be giving away today. Again, 10 minutes from now, 2 for Tuesday, Red Sox and Nationals on Saturday night. Aside from Swayman, aside from the Montgomery timeout, what was your favorite part of last night? What did you like the most about the performance last night?
Lohrei, definitely. I mean, I think that he is such a surprise, and that goal was just absolutely nasty. The other thing that I really liked was Christian Arcand's tweet, hearkening back to Night Country. To True Detective,
on the
when
pig
you compared the little, the pig pile in front of Swayman's goal with the weird frozen ice human sculpture from True Detective. Well done, Arcand.
Yes,
Well done,
compared those
Arcand.
2 things.
I'm not sure I saw that, but well done.
It's a great tweet. It got about 30 likes.
You know what? That's like a
And one of them was not
quality little
Mego,
tweet.
by the way. Mego didn't even
I
like
didn't
it.
like it?
Or
Are you
retweeted.
sure?
I was shadow banned.
Okay, I'll go do it right now. Sometimes I like things and I like them in real life, and I don't think about it translating on the internet.
Elon's not ready for my True Detective comparisons. That's why he's stifling my
Beyond
reach.
your social media post, what'd you like
it
last
only
night?
got 24 likes.
24? I didn't even get 30 likes?
I had retweeted it.
Even after all that?
I had retweeted it.
Okay, well, I guess I missed that. I think, all in all, for me, my favorite thing was just the offense functioning at a higher level. I thought that early on, Pasternak had a bunch of scoring chances. He didn't score a goal, but I thought that he was very active. I thought guys were buzzing in that first period, and when they got going in the scoring run there, it just seemed like a natural progression from what they built. So, I think in general for me, it was just the offense kind of hitting its stride. You know, it was one game, but it hit its stride.
Here's what I like: they were down again, and they battled back, and it was no problem.
Immediately.
They've answered on these goals. So Tkachuk scores. I was worried. I'm sure a lot of people were worried. They responded right back. Geeky gets the goal. Next thing you know, they're in front, and then they're pulling away at the end of the game is what I like. You guys can jump in on all of it. 617-779-7937. You starting to believe in the Bruins? Is there a goalie controversy? I can't believe we have to ask this every single day because they can't sit Swayman now, right? They can't do that.